Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Currently looking very glam, very pink blush-esque, and that is because I want to do a little series on here recreating makeup artist looks. When I have lost my creative spark, when I've got like a creative block, I love getting inspo from other makeup artists and putting my own twist on it or full on recreating their looks just to get my creativeness back. I love just sitting down and having fun, and I feel like I really did with this makeup look. I think it turned out so well. Obviously in the next clip you will see the makeup artist look that I did recreate, but I seriously love it. So if you want to see how I achieve this makeup look, then carry on watching. For this series I want to start off with more soft glam and then slowly build up the intensity of the makeup. So we'll go from soft glam to more kind of grungy, smoky, and then of course colourful glam. The first makeup artist look that I would love to try and recreate, I literally just found this on my explore page on Instagram. Not entirely sure how you say her Instagram name. I think she's Albanian when I kind of researched it. I'm not too sure, I'm not 100% sure. But this look, I will put a picture on screen here, but this, how stunning, especially with the eyes as well, but how gorgeous is that makeup look. The eyes just caught me instantly, and then the pink nude lip as well. Okay, we're going to do our best to try and recreate this. We'll start off with brows, and they're not majorly thin, but they are a lot thinner than how I would typically do my brows, so we'll give that a go. As always, I'm going to use the Pink Honey Brow Fluff. This is the medium shade in the tint. They have the original brow fluff, and then these are the new tinted brow fluffs. I literally cannot use anything else other than this now. It doesn't take me as long to do my brows, and I'm honestly just in love with this brow tint. I'm going to brush this brow fluff tint through my brows and try not to do them as thick as I would normally do because I don't have a lot of brow hairs going on, so that's why I really like to accentuate and exaggerate my brows to make them look a lot more fuller. Once your brows look like this, then go in with the wipe. So I literally, because I have long nails, I'll just wrap the wipe around my nail, and then I will just kind of shape the brows by wiping the excess product away that I don't need. And then on top as well, because we want to keep them thin but not too thin, so this will help shape them as well. So just wipe again the excess product, and it will help with the shape of your brows. To fill them in ever so slightly, because I like to do the brow kind of like stroke effect, so I'm going to use the NYX Lift and Snatch brow pen. I haven't used this in what feels like forever because I now use the Pink Honey brow detailer pen. That has literally replaced every single brow pen that I now have, but because I don't want them too dark, I really like to use the end of the pen and just kind of flick it up. I don't know if you can see, but just flick the product up so it gives that brow kind of like effect, and then just follow the direction that the brows are going in. And like I said, this just helps to kind of fill your brows in and make them just a little bit more fuller. So this is the brows. I mean, I'm not mad at them. It's just really weird seeing my brows like this. Also, I forgot to say, the shade in the NYX Lift and Snatch brow pen is Espresso. But yeah, it's just really weird seeing my brows a lot more thinner. As always, I like to carve under my brows. I do not care if this isn't in anymore. I will always do this. I just feel like it looks a lot cleaner, especially when I do eyeshadow, or even when I don't. I just like to do this. So I now use, well, I've been using it for the past month or two. This is the Pink Honey, if it wants to focus, the Pink Honey Cloud Cover Creamy Concealer. This is in the shade 9C. If you can hear that, I don't know if you can, but it is absolutely hailstoning outside. What is with this British weather? Last week it was reaching like 18 degrees, and now this week it's been sunny, it's been snowing, it's been hailstoning, it's been raining, it's been windy. I can literally see the hailstone bouncing off next door's roof. But I'm now going to carve under my brow using this is a Be Perfect BP-D03 brush. You don't have to carve under your brow if you don't want to. Like I said, I just like doing this. Honestly, that hail is really distracting me. But yeah, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. I just really like cleaning up under my brow. I don't know, it just makes it look a lot more polished. I've just used the same concealer for my eyelid. I'm not really bothered what concealer I use, but at the moment I have been using that Pink Honey one. Even though this concealer does dry down my eye, I'm just going to set it lightly with the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Powder in the shade Pound Cake. Right, for this makeup look, there's not a lot going on. It just seems quite bronzy and then kind of just a little bit smoky on the outer corner, and then obviously you have the gorgeous glittery inner corner and towards like the middle section of the eye as well. So I might go in with the bronzer that I'm going to use for my face, or I do have this painted palette in the basic canvas version. This has really nice kind of like neutral tone, so I might use UV Index, which is this one, or yeah, I might just go with the bronzer, I'm not too sure. I'm going to try the shade UV Index first and see how we get on, and then if it's not kind of warm enough, then I'll just go in with a bronzer. I'm just going to bring that shadow kind of to the top of my nose where my bridge bone? The bridge bone? Is that right? Anyway, just to the top of my nose, and then just drag that above, like, above my natural crease anyway. I might zoom you in just so you can see a lot better. I'd probably say this is like the third time going in with that eyeshadow. I don't think I need to go in with bronzer because it's actually quite a nice shade. I can see on the image, I don't know if it's just like the lighting or whatnot, but I might just in a corner ever so slightly go in with Freckled maybe, but just not too much, just because I want to have that depth in the inner corner before I do cut the crease. I've then actually just gone in with this House Labs powder bronzer. So these are the Powder Sculpt Velvet bronzers. Mine is in the shade Amber Horizon, which is medium. Doesn't look really warm in person or even on camera, but when you actually apply it, it just gives like a slight warmthness, if that's even a word, just to the bit that I wanted. So that looks miles better. Now for the cut crease, I wouldn't usually do this with neutral eyeshadow, but I'm going to do this just because I don't want that eyeshadow to blend in with the concealer. So using your wipe, do the exact same, like harden under your brow, but you're just going to create that cut crease. Because I have all that space above my natural crease, I really like to make it kind of like really accentuated so you can actually see it instead of doing it here, because that's just going to be wasted space. So I really like to take advantage of all the eyelid space that I have. For the cut crease, I want to use a more lighter shade of concealer. So this is the H&B Cosmetics Soft Focus. Why? Don't want to focus today. This is the H&B Cosmetics Soft Focus Airbrush Concealer in the shade SF 1.5W. Follow that line where you wiped away, and then just drag it to about the centre. It's kind of really hard to talk and do that at the same time and also breathe. But yeah, just bring that into the middle section of your eye like that, and then just leave it like that, and then just slowly drag the concealer inwards. I've decided that I'm going to wipe this off and start again because I feel like I brought that concealer up a bit too high. Like, I don't want a massive space here. Like I said, I know I do want to use my eyelid space and use it to its advantage, but I feel like I could have just brought it just above this line of my crease, just ever so slightly, not too high up like I did. So gonna wipe this off and then we'll go back to where we was. Okay, this is what I wanted, because last time I just brought that up way too high, and this is now looking how I wanted it to. So we're going to set this concealer. I also blended the outer kind of portion with the same eyeshadow and the bronzer as well. I want to keep this more or less the same colour as the concealer. So there's a perfect shade in the painted palette called Sugar. So I'm just going to use another Styled by Abraham brush. This is why doesn't it want to focus today? But anyway, this is a kind of like fluffy but flat brush as well. So this is the SBA 11, and then I'm just going to dip into sugar and set that lid space. Make sure that there is no creases, and then just lightly tap the eyeshadow in place to set the concealer. Then go back in with your eyeshadow or bronzer just to again blend that outer portion. This is looking perfect so far, exactly how I want it to, so I'm going to repeat this on the other eye, and that is where we can get started with the shimmery eyelid. We're now at this stage, and off camera I added a little smoky wing. I don't actually know if that is 100% on the picture. I can't really tell because she has half lashes on, but I thought I'd just do that anyway, and then when I do add the lashes it'll kind of like nicely blend in together. The shades I used from the same painted palette was Theodore, which is a really pigmented black, which is really good, and then Lava Cake, which is the darkest brown, and then a mixture of Treehouse and Oak. And then to make sure it was properly blended, I went in with the same shade UV Index, which I use for the rest of the eye. You don't have to add that little wing if you don't want to, but like I said, I couldn't really tell if the half lashes was making it look like there's a slight shadow there or there was eyeshadow, and then the lashes just enhance it as well. So I don't know, I feel like it looks a little bit better, so I'm going to do that on the other eye. Time for the shimmer glitter on the eye, the most exciting part. I have no idea what this makeup artist has used. I can see pink, I can see gold, a bit of silver as well. It could be an eyeshadow, it could be a pigment, who knows, but I think I have two perfect products to try and recreate this. So I have two of the Jordana Tisha Gummy Twinkle sticks. One is in the shade To the Disco, which is more silver, and then the more pink one is Fairy Garden. I'll give them a swatch for you because oh my god, this is probably my most favourite thing she's actually released. So this is To the Disco. I mean, you can make it look really intense like that, or if you do want to kind of blend it out, you can make it look more subtle. And then Fairy Garden, of course I had to get a pink shimmer stick. I really hope that it's coming across pink on camera, because in person that is absolutely stunning. And then again, if you want it to make it more subtle, you can just blend it out. But these shades, why I only got two, I don't know. I feel like I need them all now. What I used to do with these, I used to apply them on the back of my hand and then dab a brush in and then go in to apply it. But I actually find applying it directly, it gives, obviously depending on the intensity that you want, but I just find it just looks better when you actually apply it with the product itself. I think I might go in with Fairy Garden first just to see, because I do want to still have that pink kind of like, because it's quite blushy as well, so I still want to be able to see the pink on the eye. So I'm just going to dab that on because it's kind of like silvery pink as well. You still got that silver, so you wouldn't necessarily have to go in with To the Disco or a silver eyeshadow, but oh, how gorgeous are these? Hopefully you can see that on camera. And then go in with To the Disco. I might not necessarily need this, but it's just, yeah, also be careful, sometimes that can happen. A bit too much has come off, but just dab softly and that won't happen. That is looking absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I did like it matte anyway, but I feel like that has just made it look 10 times better. I definitely feel like a pigment has been used, but I don't feel like it's too bad actually. The base, so we're going to go into that, and this needs to be flawless. As always, I'm going to go in with my NARS Soft Matte Concealer pot in the shade Ginger. I'm going to do this before priming. I've seen quite a few makeup artists do this instead of priming first and then kind of spot concealing. I don't know, it just seems to make their base look a lot more flawless. Go over any breakouts or scarring that you may have or any redness. Just gotta let that sit on the skin for a little bit and dry down even more, even if this is a matte formula, just because if I put the primer on straight away, I don't want it to like break down the concealer or rub away. The primer that I'm going to use is the Maybelline Grippy Serum. This is a fan favourite. It's so good. It has a plus 2% niacinamide in there. It extends makeup wear for up to 24 hours, and it also has 24-hour hydration, making the skin look plumped. It's honestly so nice. I really love primers and just like makeup in general that has skincare infused in the makeup products. I'm just gonna gently kind of like blend this over the top of the concealer, and hopefully this doesn't rub away. For foundation now, this is actually the old formula. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation. I've actually tried the new one. I took a little sample home and it's just as good as the old one. It's only just been watered down though, ever so slightly. The coverage is still there, but if you were to ask me which one I prefer, I actually don't know because I do like them both. But mine is in the shade 3W2 Cashew, and if you've tried this, you know what the coverage is like, so this is going to be perfect for today's look. I'm just going to dab this all over and then I'll go ahead and blend it out. To blend it out, I do love a dense but fluffy brush as well. So this is one of the oh my god, my voice, oh my god. This is one of the HMB Cosmetics, I swear to god, this focus. This is one of the HMB Cosmetics face brushes. This is the F04 brush. I'm just gonna lightly press this foundation in. If you want maximum coverage, then do this rather than swiping the foundation on. Concealer now, I'd go as far as saying this is my favourite concealer ever, no matter what brand it is. I'm just feeling like I'm always reaching for it. So these are the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Long Wear Concealers. I always have 2 shades, so I have 220W, so that is just a bit lighter than my foundation. And then to brighten, I have the shades, it's kind of come off, I think it's 175W. I use 220 first. As I said, it's just a little bit lighter than, a little bit, it's lighter than my foundation, so it's gonna conceal but give a little bit of brightness. Gonna leave my eyes till last to blend because it's gonna dry down and just thicken ever so slightly and give me that extra coverage. So everywhere else, I'm just gonna blend that with a sponge first. Even though this is a hydrating concealer, I find that my under eyes are slightly dry, so it's gonna perfectly hydrate under them eyes, even though I do powder, but it's gonna keep that hydration there. Then just use a tiny bit in the inner corner to brighten, also on the forehead and the chin. Looking at the photo, it doesn't seem like a majorly bronzy makeup look, maybe just on the forehead and a little bit on the cheekbones. Nose doesn't look super contoured, so I don't want to go in too heavy with cream bronzer, so I'm going to use the No. 7 Pro Artist Soft Glow Cream Bronzer. This is in the shade Medium. It's giving Chanel dupe. It's honestly so good. So I'm just dipping it in with another HMB brush. This is another face brush. This is the F02. Like I said, this isn't a really proper bronzy look, so I don't want to go in too heavy. Just a little bit on the cheekbone, so at least we have some definition and shape. I'm gonna run that cream bronzer with the excess that I have on my brush over my nose, not to properly contour it, but at least it's still kind of like balancing out. But yeah, this is a super pink blushed look. It's quite cool toned. I would say I have 3 different blushes here. One's cream and then the other 2 are liquid. So I firstly have the HMB Cosmetics Glossy Skin Blush Tint. This is in the shade 1. I really love these, especially in the summer. It's not majorly cool toned, but when you apply it, it does look more cool toned. And then we have a Be Perfect The Cheek Shimmer Liquid Blush. Now, I don't know how that's going to look because I can't really see any highlight again on the picture. And then this is an Armani Luminous Silk Cheek Tint, and that is in the shade 53. I don't know if these have certain names, but it's number 53, so I might go in with the Armani one first because I don't think I've ever used this actually. No. And then if I feel like I need it more pigmented, then I'll go in with HMB maybe. Just applying this to the higher points first, and then like I said, I'm going to build the colour up with a different cream blush if needed. Really loving the Doll Beauty, what brush is this? This is the Solid Start Midi. Yeah, Midi brush to blend. I'm getting sick of this camera. Why is it not focusing when I want it to focus? Yeah, so this is the Midi. I really do like this to blend out my cream blush. Yeah, as you can see, it doesn't blend into nothing, but it's very, very subtle. So instead, I'm going to use it the HMB, trusty HMB in the shade 01. Apply it in the same area, and yes, that is what I wanted. I want you to be able to see it from afar. These blushes, especially in the summer, that glossiness is perfect. I don't tend to set it as much in the summer because I still want to be glowy, but look at that. Armani versus HMB. High end versus... It's sold in drugstores like Superdrug. I'm not Superdrug, Boots. It's kind of like a middle range price. Like, it's not majorly cheap, but it's not super expensive. So yeah, it just shows, honestly. Got to set everywhere with powder because I cannot leave this like this. And also this look looks very flawless, very matte. And then there must be a slight bit of highlighter included, like on the chin, on the tip of the nose. But yeah, we're definitely going to mattify this whole base. As always, the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Powder in Pound Cake. Cannot go wrong with this. Oh, I will not use, nearly dropped it. I will not use any other powder, actually. Like, that is full on true. I will not use any other powder. It just doesn't do the same. Dip in with my powder puff. Take the excess on the back of your hand so it's even on the powder puff, and then apply it. And just softly pat that in. I also do this everywhere, not just under my eyes as well, because this, like you can see, and I hate on videos where people are like, obviously it's going to mattify it. Shiny, matte, shiny, matte. But with this powder, like, it literally makes you look flawless, as if you got a filter on. I look so smooth with this, it's actually a joke. I mean, you can see straight away. This side versus this, and this is why I love this powder. Look how smooth my skin looks. Oh, just sets everywhere beautifully. It doesn't give me flashbacks, doesn't change the colour of my foundation. My skin, oh, nothing can replace this powder, nothing. I'm going to use the same powder bronzer that I did for my eye. So this is the House Labs, the Powder Sculpt did I say powder before? It's actually called Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer in the shade Amber Horizon, which is medium. I prefer the blushes, if I'm completely honest. I don't know if I just need a darker shade, but this, like, I feel like you really have to, like, build up, whereas, like, some bronzers, the pigment's there straight away. But this is, like, it's nice, but I do have better bronzers, if I'm completely honest. Powder blush now, it's kind of been dragged into the eyeshadow ever so slightly, so when I do that I will just drag it here. But I can't tell if there's two blushes being used, like a darker one and a lighter one, but we'll do that anyway. So the first blush I have is from MUA Beauty, giving Dior, but this is the blush. I do love this. I think it's a bit steep for £12, not gonna lie. I thought it would have been at least £6. But anyway, this is the PH Powder Blush, the Glow Up PH Powder Blush in the shade Rosy Pink. And then we also have the Sephora Colourful Blushes. I absolutely love these. This is a matte blush, so they're both matte blushes. This is 51 in the shade Trust Yourself. Gonna use the MUA Beauty one first, more on the higher points, kind of like here, and then the Sephora one more kind of on the cheek area. So I'm just going to drag this blush ever so slightly where the eyeshadow is, but not too much. if you haven't tried this MK Beauty blush, even though the price is a bit but honestly, like, you can build it up, and I like that. I like that in a blush. Like, even though I want you to be able to see it, I like the I was gonna say buildability, that's not a word. I like it to be buildable, basically. Just gonna use the same brush for the Sephora one. Usually I would use a different one, but I'm just gonna use the same one today. But yeah, I really do love these Sephora blushes. I feel like Sephora collection in general is just so underrated. Like, they really have some nice products. I can't really see if she's got highlighter on the cheeks, but I feel like I just want to add a little bit. A little tiny bit. So this is the Fenty Beauty, the Kilowatt Freestyle highlighter in the shade What a Brat. This is honestly the best pink highlighter blush topper product when you have pink blush on. Can you see? I don't want to go in too heavy. As I said, I can't see that if she's got any on, but I just feel like I need it. Oh, that's nice. I can see like a slight glow on the tip of her nose and then on her chin as well. So I do have the Be Perfect Polar Vortex Radiant Highlighter in the shade Pink Icicle. Do I... Oh yeah, okay, I thought that was going to be a little bit more pink than I thought. And then the tip of the nose. Ooh. Back to eyeshadow, we're just going to finish the under eye. So we're going to use the same Painted Basic Canvas palette. She has quite a warm under eye, kind of like browny orange, I think. So we're going to use the shade maybe Freckled, and then I don't know, maybe Fox. I don't know if that's a bit too much. I won't say Daisy because that is like full on orange, but we'll try Freckled first to give that depth, and then I might add a bronzer instead for like the warmth. So I did actually go in with Freckled and then Fox as well. It's just I did that warmth because even though Freckled it's kind of like a neutral brown, and then the Fox shade just added that warmth. For lashes, I have two pairs here. So one is from Lily Lashes. I actually got these in Superdrug. I didn't know Lily Lashes were sold in Superdrug. And then I also have the Doll Beauty lashes in the style Prinny. So they're both half lashes. I just don't know which ones to go with. I might just kind of like sit one lash on one eye and then the other lash on the other, just to see what they're like. They're very similar. It's always a hard choice trying to decide on lashes. Putting it on top of my lashes, obviously it will be stuck down a lot more. So that is the Lily Lash in the style Stunning. I don't know if it's too big, you know. And then we'll have a look at the Doll Beauty one. Ooh. Yeah, I'm thinking the Doll Beauty one in Prinny. Yeah, that one's just a bit like, whew. As much as I really like it for both, but I just feel like this one kind of matches the vibe. Let me get the photo up. Yeah, like the lashes aren't too big, so I feel like the Doll Beauty ones are going to be better. Yeah, I'm actually so glad that I went with these ones. Whew. They kind of just go along where I did the smoky wing liner. It's all coming together. Lips is the last step now. As we've seen, it's quite a pinky nude lip. We have the brown lip liner and then that gorgeous kind of like babe pink centre. I think I have the perfect combo for this. So this is the Morphe Sweet Tea. I mean, very much loved Morphe Sweet Tea lip liner. Just going to give that a sharpen because that brown on the picture doesn't look too dark, so I definitely feel like this is the perfect shade. I've also, as you can see, I always now wipe away my kind of like, is it double lip line, because I like to, my voice is going again. I like to overline, so because sometimes when I'm applying a lip liner it appears darker than it actually is because obviously there's foundation there. So I now just prefer to wipe my entire lips and then my double lip line as well, because as I said, it's just going to appear darker. So go in with your lip liner And then where that space is, you can just get the perfect lip liner shape for you. Also, because you've wiped it away, it's just going to appear more like crisp. For the lipstick now, I have two different products here. I either have the Peel Appease lip base in the shade Baby Doll, which I absolutely love. But then we also have the Doll Beauty lipstick in the shade Dolled Out, which is a lot more pink, and I feel like this might be better than the Peel Appease one. The Peel Appease one is like a baby pink, but it's kind of muted. It's not like a bright baby pink. Do I mix them together? I mean, it's not going to do a lot because one's more kind of like liquidy, one's more of a lipstick. Ooh. We may be onto something here. Mixing the Peel Appease lip base with a lipstick. Literally just swatch it on the back of your hand because it is a creamy formula anyway. Then get a brush and just mix them together. Hack. Then with that brush, just dab that product on. Oh my god, yeah. This is actually the perfect shade. I am actually in love with that lip combo. That looks stunning. Oh my god, okay. I think she has gloss on from... Does she have gloss on? Yeah. Okay, so... Again, I have two options here. I don't know whether to mix them. So these are two from Pink Honey. We have the original lip glazes. This is in the shade The Favourite, number 17. And then we have a glacé glaze. So these are more sheerer. This is in the shade Baby Cakes. Again, did we mix them? Baby Cakes. Just to see. Oh no, okay, yeah. We'll just keep it like this. Just found this in my drawer. So these are the Lancome Juicy Tubes. I feel like when I got them, they were sold like years ago and they brought them back, and I've not actually tried it yet, but the consistency is so thick. Whoa. How have I not tried these yet? That is so much more glossy. Ooh. That is so pretty. But that is the entire look finished. I'm just going to go back over my hair. I also have no idea what the hairstyle was like. I feel like it might be in like an updo. I can't do updo, so I've just done like a little high ponytail where it's all like flicky bits, and then I just need to recurl this front bit of my hair. But what do we think? Whilst I'm just curling this front bit, my hair's actually greasy, so it's not even doing what it's meant to do. But I forgot to say the name of the Lancome Juicy Tube Original. This is in the shade Marshmallow Electro, number 5. Oh, they're so pretty. I actually can't believe I've not tried them yet. And this is the final look of complete. What do we think? I actually really like how it's turned out. I did, in fact, I don't know if you can tell, but my eyes look a lot more glittery, just because I feel like on the photo they were just popping a lot more, and I feel like I needed something like that. So I did find my Danessa Myricks Infinite Chrome Flakes. Now I know they look very dark, like it's a very dark pink, but once you add them on, like just the reflexes, I just feel like it's made the eye look a lot better. Also added some earrings. I know there isn't earrings in the photo, but I just feel like I needed something. Also the hair, we don't know what the hair looks like, but this wasn't curling how I wanted it to, and then I don't know whether I should leave this bit to frame my face, but then you can't see the earring. Please let me know how you think I did on recreating this makeup look. I'm actually so excited to carry on this little series because I genuinely love taking inspo from other makeup artists and putting my own spin on it, or like full on trying to recreate the look myself. I'm honestly in love with this. It's so pretty. This might be my go-to glam now. Maybe not like the glitter on the eyes as much, but to have a more prettier look. I know I've already done like a go-to glam where it's more smoky, but this, like more soft glam, it might be my go-to now. I just feel like I really love a pink blush. Like more blushy actually. This is the first time I've ever done more of a blushy look as well, not a lot of bronzer. And I'm actually here for it. Yeah, please let me know what you think, and if there is any other makeup artists that you love that you think I would as well, let me know in the comments and I'll have a little research and find some looks to recreate again. I'm honestly obsessed how this has actually turned out. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next one.